The extremist resources detached from Belarusian reality are in dire need of a feeding ground. Therefore, they have to fabricate fakes from available materials. And if there are no materials, then they resort to tools, Photoshop, and makeshift fabrications. Give apartments and cars to migrants. The document is allegedly published on the Bell Teleradio Company website. Supposedly, it's a presidential decree, and then they provide justification for such harsh measures. Allegedly, quote, "These decrees are a response to the latest wave of black refugees that has overwhelmed our country. The decree provides for the partial requisition of vehicles and residential premises. The news spread across all possible extremist resources. Naturally, such a decree does not exist and was never on our site. Here are the proofs," as they say. This alleged document was supposedly published on September 30th in the advertising news section on the tvr.by domain, which has not been working since September 18th. The BT site was hacked, another fake, and attention in the address bar TVR, but the layout is from the NEWS.BY site. So the fakers simply Photoshop the old domain and fake document onto the new layout. The regime will fall any moment, they said, just a little more, and then a little more, and it's been 4 years like this. The economy has already collapsed, not everyone felt it, but it is so. Since 2020, these economist forecasters predict a great Belarusian depression every day. Here's 2022. Listen.
The Belarusian economy will have to shrink, and, when a plant that made 40,000 tractors will make 10, or Maize, which makes 3,000 vehicles, will make 500. Accordingly, for any other product nomenclature. So many workers are not needed, yes, so some will be laid off. And here, well, some will go into a knee-elbow garden dacha position undoubtedly. But of course this, gradual deterioration, degradation will be completely predictable. Of course, in any situation, this is a very deep recession, this is a trade crisis.
How do you like such a forecast clearly written by these extremists in that very knee-elbow garden dacha position, in the acute need to work off the agenda of Western masters? Sanctions were imposed, their economy was strangled, and how now to explain to the burgher across the border why the numbers in his bills are growing, while Belarusians have a housing boom and happy faces? 2 years later, we take the extremists again, the 4th year of forecasts of the collapse of the Belarusian economy.
If you look again at the dry statistics, if you compare, say, with 2022, then undoubtedly people's mood has improved in terms of what? In terms of when everything is bad, people expect something to happen, the economic situation to worsen. They freeze. That is, they take a wait-and-see position. That is, then the growth of lending decreases or slows down, for example. People do not want to buy. That is, they sit and wait for something to happen, or they simply cannot afford it. But what we see now, well, I looked at the latest data for July, for example, retail trade in non-food goods and comparable prices. The growth was almost 20% July to July. That is a very large growth. People are willingly taking loans. Obviously, the conditions are created.
Just don't expect the fakers to come to their senses. For weeks now, extremist resources have been trying to convince someone that the growth of the economy and salaries in Belarus is very bad. A clear example, but maybe the increase in purchasing power is a signal of decline.
There is something in these actions like, I'll buy something easier while it's unknown what will happen with this ruble.
Well, I don't think that's the situation right now. That is, it's not like there are raids on stores. No, consumption is gradually increasing. That is. And also, I don't know, there's more going out. Yes, people go to cafes more, to restaurants. Well, that is, on the one hand, they can afford it, and they have, well, such a salary increase, it exists. Such figures naturally affect overall well-being.
However, no, like a broken record, the regime will fall any moment. Sanctions will definitely strangle the economy when you really want it, but no. The Great Depression is when you look at the real statistics of Belarusian salary growth. and somewhere a fleeing zmagars cries, calculating the percentage reduction of overseas grants. Ekaterina Tikhomarova, first informational.